Where the hell's your jacket?
Fuck you, it's hot out. Hi, this is the Out of Touch podcast.
Hello, I'm Chris. That's Bill. I've been rudely interrupted.
I know I told you to start, but I decided to screw with you.
Okay, Bill. What are we watching this week?
I don't know. What did we watch?
We watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
That's right. The prequel to Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I was going to say, this one takes place in the past.
For some reason.
It's not too far in the past.
Yeah, it's like a year or two. The reason I always heard was that they didn't want to have the Nazis as the villains, but it's like, this movie primarily takes place in India. You just don't have the Nazis and don't worry about it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Bill, what do you think of Temple of Doom?
This is a fucked up movie, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I've never seen this movie before.
Really? Not at all?
This is the first time I ever watched it.
None of it?
None of it.
Not even snippets of it?
Nothing.
Wow. I saw snippets of this movie when I was a kid because this was the only one we owned on VHS when I was younger.
That's weird, because this is
the worst one to show a kid.
Yeah, honestly, like, a lot of things that happened in this movie, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Holy crap. Once again, a bunch of stuff in this movie that, you know, I've seen in other things that was just like, oh, that's what that's from.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll definitely go through that. But, so, what's the deal with Short Round? He's like Indiana Jones' son, but then they forgot he had a son in the third movie.
He's like his sidekick or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
They clearly do have like a relationship, but then we never see or hear from him again.
Yeah, I mean, like, he says, like, I love you, and it's just like, okay, so it's like his son. It's like, what happened to him?
Maybe Indiana Jones sent him to private school.
Maybe.
That's what I like to think.
Yeah.
I like to think part of the reason why he gets so mad at his biological son for dropping out of school is like, your adopted brother's getting a doctorate right now as we speak.
Yeah. And he can fight better than you.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I was like, wow, this little kid can fight. Pretty interesting.
Now, did you know that this movie is also one of the major reasons why the PG-13 rating exists?
I didn't know it was this movie in particular.
It was this movie and Gremlins.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, like, for years, that Kali Ma thing, I was like, that's what that's from.
Now, would you believe that this movie was created during a time where both Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were going through bad breakups? Yeah. Lucas a divorce and Spielberg had like a bad breakup or something? Does that make this movie make it a bit more sense?
Maybe a little bit.
It's like, why is this movie so angry?
It's so, like, hardcore at points. I mean, like, all the stuff with, like, the cult and then the child slavery stuff. I was just like, Jesus Christ.
It's so fucking dark. Though, ironically, the thing that skews me the most is probably the least dark thing in the movie.
What's that? The eating scene?
No, that's just kind of darkly hilarious to me.
Yeah.
It's just silly. No, to me, it's the hallway of bugs. Because it's like, that could happen. I could walk into a place and there's just be bugs everywhere.
So many cockroaches or roly-polies or whatever.
It's like one of those things where I'm just like, I feel so itchy now just watching this.
Yeah. This movie is really, like, different than what I thought it was. Because Temple of Doom, I don't know why I thought, like, oh, okay, like South America. And it's like, no, India. It's like, huh, weird. I guess there are a lot of ancient ruins in India, though. So that makes sense. And then, you know, no Nazis, like you said, which I was kind of like, I was under the impression Indiana Jones fought exclusively Nazis for some reason.
I mean, once upon a time, there was 2 out of 3 movies.
Yeah.
Now it's just 2 out of 4. I can't say about the 5th one yet. I don't know. He could be fighting commies again. We don't know.
He's going to fight aliens.
That already happened.
He's doing it again. But, yeah, it's weird. This movie starts off, like, because...
Did you expect a musical number?
I didn't, but it kind of reminded me of, like... Because, you know, you told me that Steven Spielberg wanted to direct James Bond,
Yeah.
and this movie kind of felt a little Bond-esque with him in his like white suit. Going,
That was very deliberate. That's a
Yeah.
Bond suit.
yeah,
Bond dressed like that all the time in those days. I know it opens with a musical number because Steven Spielberg always wanted to direct a big musical,
yeah,
and that was sort of his way of just kind of like getting a taste of it.
yeah. It's
Now he has finally since actually done a full-on musical.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. Like the beginning of the movie, Indiana Jones has like another friend that I guess gets killed.
Yeah,
At first, I thought that guy was Short Round's dad, and I was just like, "Oh, is that Short Round's dad?" When he showed up, and then I was
Thankfully, nothing that dark. Thankfully,
they allude to some darkness with Short Round saying
Yeah.
like his family is killed by like the Japanese when they invaded China.
I feel like if we actually see if that guy was actually Short Round's death, that just makes the movie sad for him.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, he just lost his dad. That's fucked up.
yeah. But then like as the movie goes on, I'm like, yeah, this kid's a little too happy-go-lucky for that man to be his dad. So
Yeah.
I guess eventually they'll explain who the hell he is. And then it's kind of like a passing line where it's just like, oh, he found me, pickpocket. And then,
He just kind of took him in.
yeah, which is fine. Yeah, the lady in this movie, she's kind of like really obnoxious.
She screams a lot.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
It reaches its apex in that campfire scene where she's just like zigzagging around, screaming at, a lizard, a snake,
yeah,
a monkey. Though I'll say this, that scene does pay off in a pretty funny joke where she sits down, she's been brushing away the elephant, a freaking snake goes on her shoulder, and Indiana Jones is like, oh, fucking snake. And she's like, leave me alone, you stupid elephant. And she
Yeah.
throws the snake away without realizing it. That's a good payoff.
that is pretty fun. There's a lot of like weird stuff in this movie. Like you go to the village with these people, and like all their kids have been stolen.
By a weird cult.
Yeah, and their like I guess sacred talisman was stolen.
The sacred rock.
Yeah.
And I guess because the rock is magic, because there's just magic in these movies,
Yeah.
it's affected like their plant life and their river and everything else. 'Cause,
Yeah. The
you know,
village is all gray and like gross
Yeah.
looking when they
'Cause-
first go to do it.
Yeah, and at the end when he brings the rock back, everything just looks nicer.
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer. Plus, they get their kids back
Yeah. All the people have more colorful clothes on and everything.
because they knew they were getting their kids back because everything started getting nice again. They're like, oh, he got our kids. Let's.
Yeah. It's weird because, you know, a good chunk of this movie takes place in this like palace that
Yeah.
is owned by this like cult.
Well, they've taken control of the local Maharaja,
Yeah, with like mind control.
mind control juice,
Yeah.
which can be broken via fire.
Yeah, only fire because you know
Seems to be.
the little kid was being mind controlled, and Short Round has a fight with him, and he's really beating the shit out of him, and he's like still mind controlled.
And then he remembers, oh wait, I used fire on Indy. Burn!
Yeah, there's a lot of like mixing of things. Like there's like voodoo in this movie,
Yeah.
and I'm like, is voodoo a thing in India? I thought that was more of like a Caribbean thing.
Look, I imagine there's a lot of cultural insensitivity in this movie.
I mean-
I think this made a lot of people mad back in the day.
That dinner scene is kind of like too ridiculous.
I can't say it's less of an in defense of that, but it's just like that is so farcical that you shouldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be offended by it because it's just so stupid.
I mean, like the chilled monkey brain is like, what?
You know, growing up as a kid, I didn't think that scene was like, ew, look at what these foreigners eat. I always thought that dinner scene was like I think this is a red flag. I think these are bad guys.
Yeah.
That's how I took it as a kid. I think these people might be evil. Look at what they're eating.
Yeah. She gets the soup. There's just like all eyeballs. You're like, oh, no.
Yeah. Did you catch the Dan Aykroyd cameo?
There's a Dan Aykroyd cameo.
Yes.
Where?
Right in the beginning of the movie, when they get to that airstrip, the guy that's talking to Indy about getting him on a plane, it's a dude with a mustache. Look at that guy, listen to his voice. It's Dan Aykroyd.
Wow, that's really cool.
He's just there.
That's fun.
Also, I have to say, because you skipped ahead to the temple, a lot of people often hate in part 4 the scene with the fridge and the nuke. And yeah, it's ridiculous. But is it any more ridiculous than Indy, Short Round, and Willie falling out of a plane in a life raft and hitting the side of a mountain and just sliding down it?
That is pretty ridiculous. I mean, to be fair, they kind of show, and I mean, it must have been a pretty hard stunt to pull off. They showed the life raft kind of like getting a little slowdown in the air at one point.
Still,
Just a
come
little,
on.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, they would go splat on the
It's as
ground.
not. It's exactly as nonsensical as the fridge thing. The Indiana Jones movies are silly.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous that they slid down the mountain and then just like fall off the mountain ultimately.
And then they finally end up in water.
Yeah. It's good, like, Steven Spielberg's like escalation of situations is always great. The way it plays out with, the suspense and everything. But yeah, it's weird. The main thing with this movie that kind of like took me back was all like the weird cult stuff. I was like, when they show like the child kids in the mines, I just thought of that like thing from The Simpsons. You'll work this off in the acid mines.
Oh my god.
And I was kind of like, I guess they're looking for the other stones, but
They never find them.
no.
It's mentioned, but it's like you think there'd be a moment where like they'd find them and be like, now we join them together. But Indiana Jones got to stop them. But no, it's just it's just justification for the kids being there, and it never comes up.
There's like a lot of weird stuff too, like the guy taking people's hearts out, which
Ritual sacrifice.
yeah,
Also, just metaphor for Spielberg and Lucas's state of mind.
yeah. It's just like now burn him in hot lava.
That's how I feel on the inside.
Like the lava pool is like swirling around. At first, I was like, is that like a portal to hell?
That's what I thought as a kid, I
yeah.
think.
But then it's like, oh no, it's just lava. Yeah, it's really ridiculous, honestly. And when I saw it, if I saw this as a kid, I'd probably be like, this movie's like scary.
Oh, I definitely thought that as a kid. I didn't watch this much when I was younger.
But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that like shocked me, and some things that I was like, the Kalima, I've seen on a bunch of things. The freaking minecart thing. I was just like, is this where Donkey Kong got it from?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most famous bits of the movie.
Yeah, I was just like, holy crap. And then the like rickety bridge thing, I was just like, is that also from this movie? Or is that...
That's more of an old trope of adventure films.
Okay.
I mean, even the minecart chase is probably something that came from old movie serials and stuff too. But this was like
the minecart
this
thing,
was like the big modern version of that.
it
at
like
the time.
blew my mind. It was just like, holy crap, Donkey Kong Country took this.
Donkey Kong Country's a ripoff. Didn't you know that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it is, but it's a good ripoff. It's an homage.
Hey, so's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's very...
I couldn't remember when I was watching because I knew that you weren't that familiar with. I'm like, does he know about the minecart chase?
I don't know. I was just
It's like, is this gonna break his brain?
like, holy crap. I'm like, this is where it comes from.
Did you like we're all over the place, but who cares?
Yeah.
The nice, I don't want to call it a callback because it's technically a prequel, but the call forward to the gun bit from the first movie.
Yeah.
Where he reaches for the gun and he doesn't have it, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like all the guys with the swords.
I think that's one of the things that makes Indiana Jones such like a likable character is like, he's not the toughest, he's scrappy, but he'll run away. He'll be like, oh fuck, go, no, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. He's like clever
Yeah.
when it comes to stuff like that. One of the scenes that I thought was interesting, and kind of funny is like the scene with Indiana Jones and Willie when they're like in the palace and they're about to go to bed, and clearly they're like thinking about like hooking up.
Yeah.
But then like they don't, and then she's like, "You'll be back in 5 minutes," and then like he's like, "You'll be over at my room in 5 minutes." And like they're both getting ready, and I'm like, "Indy, what are you doing? Short round, sleeping right there." Like, have this late.
Well, I think Indiana Jones is probably just being like, I'll wait an extra minute, then I'll go over there.
Yeah.
I don't think he would do that with short round right there. Or she would come and he would just pick up short round and throw him in the hallway.
Maybe.
Be like, use her room.
Yeah. It's like, oh. Sure, around. It's gonna have a life experience.
Okay. I mean, he kind of did in this movie.
He sure did.
He got traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah, the cult people too, and they like pour that like shit in his mouth and brainwash him. I was just like, what
They start whipping both him and short round. It's
Yeah.
so fucking dark.
That stuff they were pouring in his mouth too, I was like, is that like ayahuasca or something? Because he starts like spazzing out. And I was like, holy shit.
It's brain juice,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
I don't know, some sort of psychotropic drug. Yeah, this movie is very different than I thought it was. It was gonna be, because like I've always heard like this is like the weird one.
It still is.
Yeah.
It's still very different. Because like all the other ones, even Crystal Skull, there's that go here, and then we go here, and then we go here. Like they're more globe-trotting, find a thing, check the thing, look for the thing,
Yeah.
punch some people along the way, big set piece thing. But it really isn't that.
Yeah,
They spent like, we get the opening thing in Shanghai, and then they end up in India, and then they just stay in India for the whole movie.
yeah, pretty much, and it's just kind of like localized to this like one part of India
Yeah.
too. It's like the village and then this palace, and then that's
The
it.
Temple of Doom, like,
Yeah,
which some angles I just occasionally, and this is like, I don't think most people would think this because it's a temple, so it has like a presentation about it, like it's like almost like a stage. But because I've seen the Indiana Jones stunt show, I'm just like, it's the Indiana Jones stunt show.
I might have missed it, but like this cult, what exactly were they trying to do?
They vaguely mention about, we get all five, we'll sweep across the earth.
Yeah, it's just like we'll rule the world. Because at first I was like, did I miss something? Are they trying to summon some sort of like ancient demon or something? But
Something like that,
Yeah.
more or less. They're worshiping someone that might be bad or whatever.
yeah,
It's probably not accurate to Hinduism. It's probably very offensive. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
yeah. From what little I know about Hinduism, I don't even think it's like that. It's just like, no, this is just like some like random cult we made up that like has nothing to do with anything.
I don't think it is. It
Yeah.
might not be, though.
Yeah,
At least the deity.
maybe.
I don't know. I didn't.
The stones like at one point like go on fire.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I have
what
no
are they?
idea if those are like real, like legendary artifacts or not. I have no idea.
I mean, for the most part, I guess like Ark of the Covenant, that's like a real thing. And
Yeah, it's like, the Ten Commandments and all that, the whole Holy Grail. It's stuff from like myth and legend and all that. I have no idea if this is like something from Hindu myth or anything like that.
yeah, be interesting to find out exactly if this is like a thing or if this was like, like you said, we're sad. We want to make an angry movie about like
I mean, there's
cults and
definitely
stuff.
there's definitely that in the movie.
Yeah,
Absolutely is. Though, as sad as he might, and angry and depressed as he might have been going in to this movie, worked out pretty well for Spielberg in the end, because the actress that plays Willie, that's his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess. Wow. Huh, that joke in Family Guy makes a lot more sense now.
To be fair, it's not like they
It's
were.
not like it was happening when
No,
when they made the
no.
movie, but
No, that's just them referencing what happened later.
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of Family Guy jokes make more sense now that you've seen these Indiana Jones movies.
They probably will. If I ever watch more Family Guy again, I'll be like, oh, now I get it.
You're just doing scenes from movies.
Yeah.
You're phonies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because like most of this movie is just like localized to that like one location. I'm trying to remember like a lot of the set pieces, but it's
I mean, it's pretty, there's the opening action scene, and then it's pretty light until Shorty snaps Indiana Jones out. And then it's just kind of like full on. Like they punch their way out, they go save the kids. Indiana Jones getting that brawl with the big dude because he always has to get into a brawl with the big dude.
yeah.
In the old movies, I think it was often played by the same stunt guy, which can
That
be-
was brutal how that one ended. He got like crushed to death.
Is it
by
any
that.
more brutal than the giant Nazi getting hacked up by the blade?
That's true. It's about the same.
Yeah,
but
they're all generally horrifying.
I guess like that guy getting smushed, and then you see like the blood on the roller. I was like, whoa.
It definitely happened a lot slower.
Yeah.
You definitely felt that a lot more.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I never knew these movies were so hardcore.
They created the PG-13 rating, man.
Yeah,
Especially this one. Specifically this one.
indeed it did. Yeah, I'm trying to think like some of the other things that stood out in this movie besides the stuff I already mentioned. The minecart thing, just in general, was like ridiculous. like short round is immediately like go left and then they go right. And
He's like, no, left, you idiot.
yeah,
That probably led right to like a nice exit.
yeah. But like everything in that minecart scene, like the mechanics of like the brake and the turning and all that stuff.
The brake breaks towards the end, and it's like, oh fuck.
Kind of like ridiculous that there's a lot of like stop that man, he has to die type of thing with like the henchmen and
Well, he
stuff.
also steals the stones, so they want those back.
Yeah, but then when he has the stones, like the guy says like we'll just find him again.
Well, they want to find them.
Yeah.
When but that's when him just threatening to drop them. It's like, well, okay, do it. Be a lot easier than having to chase you off a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
I have an issue with that scene.
Oh yeah?
As dark and twisted as it is, they fall and get eaten. They're getting eaten by alligators.
Yeah, they should be crocodiles.
Yeah,
huh?
those were American alligators.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I was just like
I even looked. That's something I did look up. That B-roll's from frickin' Florida.
Of course it is.
I guess that was easier, but come on, guys. Couldn't find a zoo with crocs or something?
Yeah. Everywhere else has crocodiles.
I guess most people wouldn't notice the difference, but
Yeah.
it's like one of the few things I know. I'm like, that's an alligator.
Very clearly an alligator.
Blatantly an alligator. Granted, I don't even know if India has crocs.
No, they do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, most places have crocs.
Well, I'm saying, like, they might not have those at all.
But yes, they definitely do have crocodiles.
Okay.
They actually have a lot of wildlife because
Well, I know, because there's, like, jungle and stuff there.
yeah, they're, like part of India is like rainforest
Yeah.
and very humid, and then like
Doesn't Jungle Book take place in India?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They used to have lions. They
I think
still
the-
might have lions.
I think the tigers are from India.
There are tigers.
Yeah,
They're more than
and
just
they
India.
have elephants.
I think that's the one place where you can still find the Asiatic lion.
Interesting.
There's like there's one part in India, I think it's India, where you can find it. It's like the only other place where you can find lions.
Yeah, but yeah, they have a lot of interesting animals. Like peacocks are like all over the place, kind of like how turkeys are all over the place here.
So what you're saying is, gotta get some peacocks
I guess.
for
I
Thanksgiving.
know a lot of India, they don't eat meat though.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right, because I know cows are sacred to them and all that.
yeah. But I don't know. It's an interesting place, and over the years, I've known a lot of people from India, so it's.
Should ask them about this movie, see how they react.
Maybe.
If they get very mad, like, okay, I'll never bring that up again.
Yeah. Like they always tell me like it's just like yeah, like the country is like super hot. he said like you're either like super hot or you're like drowning. Because like it rains a lot. Like there's like a monsoon season.
Oh jeez.
Like I guess like close to like the jungles and stuff.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was interesting seeing this part of the world in Indiana Jones movie because it's not really part of the world you see too often, at least in a lot of popular media and everything. So it's always interesting seeing like another culture, even though this culture was probably portrayed like very inaccurately.
I mean, if you look at it through this way, it was some weird, crazy cult and not meant to be reflective of the actual country.
Yeah, it's weird too. It was like British India too. Because there's like, it's 1930, it was a colony.
Yeah.
There's like the British guy that shows up at the end.
Well, he shows up briefly at the dinner and then
Yeah.
disappears only to come back to help shoot the bad guys.
Yeah. It's weird that the bad guys don't have any guns. They're like using like bow and arrows.
They had guns at certain points. They were shooting at Indiana.
That's true, they did.
They just didn't have any guns when
the
they
bridge.
They didn't have guns when they needed them the most.
Yeah. Just like get the swords and the bow and arrows. Feeling old school today.
It's like, we'll kill him with blades. Oh fuck, the British are here with guns. Damn it.
I don't know. What else about this movie, Bill?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not as memorable, honestly.
I mean,
it's like dark.
Certain parts of it are memorable, but the things you remember the most about the other ones are how much more fun they are.
Yeah.
And this one, it has the moments, but those moments are also surrounded by like, jeez.
Yeah, there's like, hey, like, do you remember the scene where Indiana Jones is brainwashed and he's trying to dip a girl in lava?
And he hits a kid.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, do you remember all like the child slaves and how?
How they're getting beaten.
Yeah, and Short Round gets captured and he's trying to escape.
And he's getting hit.
Yeah,
When Indiana Jones is captured and he's whipped. Good Lord, this movie was made by sadists.
yeah. It's a different movie for sure.
It very much is. I think that's why the next one was more in line with the first one.
What was the rationale for making? Well, I guess you said like they made it in the past so he didn't have to fight Nazis because if they went forward, he would have to fight Nazis again.
Even in India?
Yeah,
I feel like you could have just been like, don't worry about it.
it's weird.
I know that
Like introducing like a kid character too. That's like clearly his like sidekick.
it's so weird that the dark one's the one with the kid sidekick.
Yeah,
That's so odd.
it is weird.
Like you'd think, oh, they added a kid sidekick. This movie's gonna be for babies now. Oh!
Why is that kid driving that car?
Definitely makes you think you're in for a more lighthearted affair at first.
Yeah,
And then shit
the
just
beginning.
gets dark and more fucked up.
Yeah, guy they're chasing. He owns the plane.
That's pretty funny.
And, Jones like, ha, see you suckers. And he closes the door and it says the guy's name on it. And the guy just looks at the pilot and the pilot's just like,
Indiana Jones never got that guy back for that.
No. Also, he never got his diamond, too.
Nope. So either that's like one of the few people that get one over on Indiana Jones, or at a later date, Indiana Jones snuck into that man's house and smothered him with a pillow.
Yeah, I was going to say, I murdered him.
Maybe that's how part 5 opens. That guy's like super old, and Indiana Jones pushes him out a window.
Man. Yeah, that would be weird, because Harrison Ford is like 80 years old.
It's so weird.
So,
People felt weird when he was 60.
is it gonna take place in like the 70s then?
It would have to.
Yeah. Man, it's like, we're gonna see like Disco Stew in an Indiana Jones movie.
It's going to be so weird. Depending on how much civilization we actually see in the movie. They might dance around it as much as possible so it doesn't look weird.
Somebody's gonna put like an A-track in like the player.
Ugh.
It's gonna be disco music.
It was weird enough seeing Indiana Jones in a 1950s diner.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, this feels strange.
it's strange. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird franchise, and honestly, this movie's kind of like, whoa, this is like a weird sequel.
It definitely is. But it's not a sequel.
Right, it's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
So technically, you should watch this one first,
Probably not.
and then realize like, ugh, I don't want to watch anymore.
Yeah, don't watch that one first.
So the next one is actually the sequel to the first one.
Sure, let's go with that.
But yeah, it's an interesting movie. It's kind of like the Batman Returns of like Indiana Jones movies, where it's like, I think I really like Indiana Jones, but this movie I probably won't watch again because it's like weird and dark and brutal. And
It's definitely the one I've watched the least out of the original 3.
yeah,
I've seen Raiders a bunch. I've seen Last Crusade a ton because I think that one's the best. That one's my favorite, personally.
yeah. But then this one is just like, whoa, what happened?
Now, it's definitely a debate amongst people, because a lot of people don't like the 4th one.
Yeah,
So, like, there's like the, well, Temple of Doom's better than that, or like, well, this was better than Temple of Doom. I don't know where I fall. I have to rewatch the 4th one.
yeah. I've actually seen the 4th one a couple times, maybe twice.
It's been I saw it a couple times, but it's been a long time.
I saw it in theaters.
So did I. It was the only one I could see in theaters.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add to Temple of Doom? Because I just don't have that much to say about it.
I think we said all we could say. It's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's weird.
It is weird.
It's kind of fucked up. It's interesting because of how fucked up it is.
Yeah.
It is entertaining in parts. It's still Harrison Ford in his prime, and he is fun to watch as Indiana Jones still.
Yeah.
Like when he is just when the action scenes are happening, they are fun. Like you get that the great like scrappy Indiana Jones just barely making it by. just reaching under, grabbing his hat at the last second. Just like all that's fun little stuff. There's just all this weird, dark stuff around it.
Yeah, like traps and the one temple.
Get the one trap, the spike, the wall of spikes. That's something.
That is something. But yeah, so I guess that's the Out of Touch podcast for this week.
I guess so.
Thanks for watching, if you got this far.
Indeed.
Jacket.
I told you it's fucking hot. It's the summer.
Okay then.
Did you not see this movie? Do you know how hot he looked wearing that leather jacket most of the movie? That's why the cult people took it away, not to beat him. They're like, no man, it's hot. This is India. What are you wearing this leather jacket for?
He does lose a lot of clothes in this movie as it goes.
He really does.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
The biggest trouble with her is the noise.